I know we're late, and I promise you this wasn't a ploy to get you guys to miss BitBoy show. I promise that wasn't what it was about. We were having technical issues, but here we are. Sorry about that. Here we are. We're going to talk about this Bitcoin pump, because this Bitcoin pump was actually quite predictable. I won't lie to you. We did know it was coming, and that's why yesterday we felt comfortable enough to get newbies into the market. Then I'm going to show you an altcoin that I've been buying, and I think it's still cheap. I'm going to give you all the data that I've got, and then you guys will decide whether or not you're going to buy it. And then today, we're going to talk about MoonBirds. We've got to talk about that, because that's the biggest NFT collection in terms of volume ever. I mean, can you believe that? I'm going to show you a Lunar project. It's an A-grade Lunar project, and I'm going to show you guys how you guys can get free tokens in an A-grade Lunar project. No jokes. Free tokens, no strings attached. Hold on a second. Yeah, no strings attached. Free tokens in this project. I'm going to show you what you have to do. I'm going to show you when you have to do it. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up and get the guy go. Gotta wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up. Get up.
Yo. Sorry about that, guys. I know it's terrible when we're late, but we are here. And I promise you, at one point we thought we were actually going to cancel the show, but here we are. We're doing a show for you guys because there's so much alpha that I need to share with you guys today. And I just thought, if I canceled the show today and I didn't give you this alpha today, by the time that you would have got it from me tomorrow, if you would have got it tomorrow, because there's another big show planned for tomorrow, then you probably would have missed out on like huge alpha. And then I wouldn't have been able to forgive myself. So here I am. If you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, join the most loyal community in the crypto world. And I looked at the stats today, and believe it or not, the Banter community is one of the fastest growing communities on YouTube. When all the other crypto communities are now growing very slowly or going down, Banter is one of the fastest growing communities. So that's a big, huge feather in our cap, specifically in this market. A huge feather in our cap. So if you're new to the channel, join, subscribe. If you've been here before, like this content, and let's get this show on the road. Finally. Sure, I'm flustered. It was crazy. I mean, I basically had to start everything from scratch. My computer wouldn't work. None of the tech would work. But here I am. I'm going to bring you guys a killer show. We're going to start off with the Bitcoin price. And no, guys, this was not a ploy to keep you from BitBoy show. This was not a ploy to keep you from BitBoy show. We know that BitBoy has 4 loyal subscribers, and so we know that you guys will have to hop off the stream and go and watch his show in about a couple of minutes. But otherwise, this was not a ploy to take BitBoy's viewers. For those who are saying, I mean, terrible. How can we even think that we would do something like that? That's like using a VPN to tell people you're not in the United States. No one would ever do that. Anyway, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Bitcoin price. And yesterday when I watched this price, when I woke up in the morning, the first thing I did was I tweeted and I said, American Tax Day. And the reason why I said American Tax Day is because on American Tax Day, it always happens. It's almost like it's a surprise for Americans that they have to pay tax on tax day. It's like as if they forget every year that they have to pay tax. And when I saw this point over here, and I just thought to myself, please God, do we close above this trend line? Because the last thing I want is to break this trend line and then have to go and wait to see if we can stay above these levels over here, which was around 36.5 or 37,000. And then when I looked later on in the day, because I kind of took the day off after doing a stream for you guys where I said it's safe for the newbies to buy, I looked back and bang, we were straight over the trend line again. And now it looks like we're accelerating above the trend line. So the positive thing is that Bitcoin still just continues to hold this trend line. And for me, as long as we continue to hold this trend line, I'm relatively comfortable. I'm relatively comfortable basically anyway. And, only when I'm relatively comfortable would I make a video which says, if you're a newbie coming into crypto, if you want a very simple crypto portfolio, well, here's a portfolio for you. If you guys didn't watch that show yesterday, go and watch it, because it does give you an idea of how we're thinking about structuring brand new portfolios. But we were comfortable to do this, even though it was tax day, and even though tax day did catch a lot of Americans by surprise. I read this yesterday, that millions of Americans still hadn't filed their taxes or hadn't paid their taxes as of yesterday. But even funnier is that for some reason, it seems like a whole lot of Americans believed that they wouldn't have to pay taxes. So what it says here, it says, while the filing process went smoothly, the IRS caught many crypto taxpayers by surprise, requiring them to report crypto acquisitions and sales. So one guy who's a partner in a firm, he says it was especially surprising to new crypto investors. Now, last year was one of the most profitable years that anybody's ever had in crypto. And remember how crypto works in the United States. If you've had a profitable trade, so let's say you bought Bitcoin in March and you sold it in April, and then you had a negative trade, and let's say you bought Bitcoin in May and you sold it in June when the price had gone down, and you made some losses, you still owe the taxes for the full trade that you made where there was profits. And so I saw this meme, and I think this meme is pretty true. It's pretty true, but this is the meme, and it said, my accountant, after I placed 89,511 trades and made just $38 in profit. Now, this is still decent, because there are a lot of people who placed all these trades, and now yesterday they remembered or realized that they owe the IRS more money than they've actually got. And so what they had to do yesterday was immediately they had to liquidate as many portfolio holdings as possible and buy. And so that they could pay their taxes. And so that is why we had this little dip over here, and then we had this like sharp recovery, and now it's kind of like business back to normal. And in this dip, as usual, in the dip, what do we get? Who's buying on the dips? You guessed it, whales. So the whales basically wait for these opportunities, and as you can see, every time that we get one of these dips, we get this high volume, huge volume of whale buying. So what they do is they wait for the dip. When they catch these spikes down, and I think this one was pretty well timed, what you can see is that they keep just buying. And yesterday we saw a huge spike in the whale volume. We also are seeing something that we haven't seen. I think this is in the history of Bitcoin, we've never seen Bitcoin moving off exchanges at such a fast pace. This is a phenomenon which I've never seen. I've been here since 2015, 2016. I must be honest, I haven't been analyzing the data for as long as that, but what I can tell you is that I've never seen the numbers this low. In fact, let's actually drag this chart back and see if the numbers, so certainly for a long time, we haven't seen the balance on exchanges. In fact, if you look at it, the last time that the balance on exchanges was this low, it was increasing though. It was in 2018. But the balance was increasing. That's when exchanges were starting to grow. So I think what we can say is that the balance on exchanges is now declining. So you see, in the history, in the past, it's pretty much been increasing, and it's now starting to decline. And what we know about this is, it's something which Bitcoin Archive pointed out, and I think Bitcoin Archive is super correct about this, is when this goes down, ever since January 2020. When the balance on exchanges goes down, the price goes up. There's a correlation. The correlation is 100%. When the balance on exchanges goes down, you can see down, up. You can see down, up, down, up. So you can see that every time that the Bitcoin get taken off exchanges, what you get is you get an increase in price. And this time what we're seeing is we're seeing the balance being taken off exchanges. And I think only today, we're starting to see some kind of price performance. And that is because what's happening now is that the whales are just accumulating. We've all seen the chart that shows that long-term holders are now at the highest point that they've ever been. So people who are buying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin for over 1 year are now at the highest part that they've ever been, which is huge. That's huge. Who else has been buying? Well, Luna Foundation has been buying again. Their Bitcoin wallet balance is now 42,530 Bitcoin. They're now well in the top 15, I think, Bitcoin holders in the world. And I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a spike in the Luna price. So the Luna price yesterday spiked. I think a long overdue spike. I think that this was because the market realized that yesterday something happened. The Terra USD became the third biggest stablecoin in the world, with $17.7 billion dollars market capitalization. In other words, UST 17.7 billion. And what you're seeing here is that they trumped Binance USD. Now, the interesting thing here is if you look at the top two, so it needs about a 3x. Let's call it a 3x to get over USDC, and it needs about a 5x to eclipse Tether. And there's no doubt that if you look at the increase in Luna is the one, or Terra is the one that is growing the fastest. And if you look at all the other coins here in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, the other three coins are all backed by actual USD, or supposedly backed by USD. Whereas if you look at Terra is the only one that's an algorithmic stablecoin, which is not actually backed by anything except the algorithm, and now the Bitcoin that they've been buying. So I think that that's what caused the spike here in Luna. And what I saw here when I looked at this, I saw an opportunity. And the opportunity for me here is, if you think about where all these stable coins are used, they're actually used on exchanges, right? And if you look at the number of exchanges that Tether is on 344 exchanges. And you look at USDC is on 281 exchanges. And you look at BUSD is on 106 exchanges. And if you look at DAI is on 191 exchanges. Okay? Now, if you look at UST is only on 47 exchanges. So imagine what happens when all of a sudden UST is available on 344 exchanges or 281 exchanges, or maybe I'm being a bit ambitious, maybe just as many exchanges as DAI is available, and that's 191 exchanges. That is where a massive opportunity lies. And so what you're seeing now is that UST's got this absolute network effect where it's got a $17 billion total value market capitalization, and it's the number 3 stablecoin, but it's only listed on 47 exchanges. And you look at the other top 5, they're all listed on over 100 and even closer to 191, 281, 344 exchanges. So that's where I think that there's going to be a magic opportunity. I also think that Kwon has been an absolute genius, because initially we had UST being used because of Anchor Protocol. So Anchor Protocol, everyone thought that Anchor Protocol is the only reason for UST to be used. That's why people are getting UST. And people said it wasn't sustainable. And then they cut the rate and they said it's no longer a 20% fixed, but the rate will reduce at 1.5% every month until eventually it normalizes or it stabilizes. And everyone thought, okay, that's the end of UST. But we're now realizing that it's not. And we're now realizing that Kwon, the Luna Foundation, TFG, whoever is responsible for this, they are every day spending their days strategizing as to how they can get more use and more adoption of UST. And I think the latest stroke of genius was this curve for pool, where they said, instead of pitting stablecoins against each other, Kwon believe that stablecoins are stronger together than competing against each other. And so they created this for pool on curve, and then they got all the voting power, and now they're going to start getting all the rewards to be given to pool number 4, which is made up of all these stablecoins. So I think that's one of the recent genius thing is this whole curve wars. Then there is this whole bridge, which I think it's a Synapse Bridge. So the Synapse Bridge is a bridge between 15 EVM powered chains. That's what the Synapse Bridge is. And they have recently integrated UST. So now you've got UST integrated into 15 chains, including Ethereum, Polygon, Avalanche, Binance Smart Chain, Phantom, and 9 others. And also, you'll remember that recently Kwon bought $200 million worth of AVAX. And I mean, for lack of a better word, for lack of the politics and the masquerading, what that was it was a marketing expense to get the Avalanche ecosystem not to create their own token, but to actually support the Luna Terra ecosystem. And so now they've pretty much, could say, I mean, in a bad way, in a good way, I don't know, they bought their way onto the Avalanche chain, and they're going to remain in the Avalanche chain. So what they're doing is they keep increasing the demand for UST, and they're doing it in a very, 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 very smart way. And that is, I mean, you can't discount this. I was looking at the gap. You know, for me, there was one point where Avalanche, Solana, and Luna were all trading at $90. Okay, so let's quickly look at how that looks today. And at one point, the gap between Solana and Luna was $20. And now when I look at the gap between Solana and Luna, it's about $13 or $12.50. Okay, so you can see that Terra is now closing the gap between Solana and Terra. So anyway, that was yesterday's price action. But I guess the reality is that we can't expect to see too much happening until the Fed meeting on the 4th of May, because we said it before, and it came from Chamat, where we spoke about this game of chicken that is being played between the Fed and investors. And the game continues.
We're playing a very dangerous game of chicken with the Fed. And you can kind of summarize it in the following way, which is that, 3 or 4 months ago, we only thought that there was going to be a handful of interest rate increases. And increasingly what has happened, the market has remained so resilient that the Fed has sort of put out more and more data as the data has justified them being a lot more aggressive. And it kind of crescendoed this past week where they basically said, listen, we're going to move by 50 basis point increments for the foreseeable 2 or 3 rate hikes, and we're going to start quantitative tightening.
So that's the game of chicken. The Fed telling us that they're going to increase by 50 basis points for the next 2 or 3 meetings, and investors going, okay, well, are we phased? Let's look at the markets. What are the markets doing? Well, the markets right now are, the S&P 500 is 1% up today. The Dow Jones about 1% up. The NASDAQ is up 2%, which is ironic because what's going on is the markets are going up and the Fed is getting more and more and more aggressive. So why do we say the Fed's getting more aggressive? This is where I think this game of chicken is starting to be a real big game of chicken. And that is because if you look at Bullard, he came out yesterday and he said, he said, inflation is far too high for comfort and the Fed has a good plan in place. And he also said that we may have a 75, we won't rule out a 75 basis point increase, but it isn't the base case. So he's now, as Chamat said, they came out and started speaking about 0.5% interest rate hikes, and the market's not moving. And so yesterday was the first time that we heard of a 75% basis point, a 0.75% interest rate increase. What did the market do when it heard this? Straight up 1%. So this game of chicken is like the Fed, the markets, the Fed, the markets. And I think that the markets are actually putting the Fed in a position where the Fed's eventually going to have to give this fight up. And the reason why I say that is because the Fed is now dealing with inflation. We know it's dealing with this ridiculous inflation because of the commodity prices, because of Russia, because of Ukraine. You can see that we're still, the prices are climbing and climbing and climbing, and this effectively makes up inflation. But then you've got this. This is a map of the container ships or the ships that are parked outside the port of Shanghai. Okay? Look at this. This is a scary, scary picture because there's a backlog there of ships that need to be offloaded, ships that need to be unloaded, and eventually we're not going to be able to get a whole lot of supplies. this is a chart of what it looks like. It's never been this backlogged ever in the history of that we can see. We've never had a backlog as bad as this. And so this is, again, going to increase inflation. And so I think that the Fed will have a very hard time increasing rates by so much. And I think if you look at what the market's telling you, there's a 91% chance that we're increasing by 50 basis points at the next meeting. And then there is a 61% chance that we're doing it again at the one after in June. So, I mean, what's the Fed going to come out and do? Okay, we're increasing by 1%. Doubt that that's going to happen. I mean, can you see the Fed? The Fed has, I mean, read this tweet. Read this tweet. Okay, so this tweet says it all. It says, we've never done a 50 basis point rate hike. Never. And now they're talking about a 75 basis point rate hike. Nah, not going to happen. I think the Fed's going to lose this game of chicken, which is quite weird. I mean, this is crazy. Can you imagine that the Fed is going to lose this game of chicken? Wow. Wow. All right, just remember, when we get to, let's get a number, 3,000 likes, I'm going to give you guys Cricket Star Manager, which is a new IDO. I'm going to give away $1,000 of this at pre-IDO prices. I'm not sure what the price is. Will you find out for me what the price is, the IDO price is? I'm going to give away $1,000. It is an IDO which is happening on Star Launch. So go and check it out. I think it's happening on the 25th on Star Launch. Go and check it out. While you're there, check out the new Star Launch website. Fuck, I love this website. How is this website? It feels like you're in a rocket. It's got sound in it. I don't dig websites with sound though. But it does add like a bit of atmosphere. Anyway, so we will give away $1,000 of that when we get to, what do we say, 3,000 likes? 3,000 likes it is. Sold at 3,000 likes. Sold at 3,000 likes. All right, we've got to hurry up because people are missing BitBoy show. This is bad. Got to get moving. I did tell you that I started buying a token today, and I did. I bought a token today, and I'm going to share it with you. I felt a little bit uncomfortable buying the token. And the reason why I felt a little bit uncomfortable buying the token is because altcoins had run today. So if we look at altcoins today, just look at altcoins. You got ref.finance up 43.9%. You got ThorSwap up 32.7%. ThorChain 20.3% up. Solidly up 17.4%. JPEG up 17.1%. So I bought an altcoin today and I felt uncomfortable because generally I don't like to buy pumps. So, but this time I did. I bought a pump. And the reason why I bought a pump is because I saw an opportunity, which I think is a big opportunity. I'm going to walk you through my thinking regarding the opportunity. And then you really have to do your own research to decide whether you're keen to take this pump and whether it makes sense in your general portfolio and whether you believe the thesis. So don't just follow me blindly. Also, I must be honest, I think I bought it. In fact, let me tell you exactly when I bought it. No, I bought it at the same price as this. So I bought it at the same price that it's trading now. That's not to say that you should be buying it because we could all get wrecked together. But I'm going to show you my thinking. So my thinking starts here. And that is, we had a show the other day where I said, I don't think that you can discount Near Protocol anymore. And the reason why I said you can't really discount Near Protocol is because crypto is about narratives. And what we know that the birds fly from narrative to narrative. They flew to Solana, they flew to ETH Layer 2, they flew to Luna, they flew to Avalanche. And I think that what you got to be cognizant of is where the birds are flying to now. And there are some clues written here. The first clue is that Near Protocol, there's been a lot of noise about Near Protocol. Big investors, so big investors, people like Andreessen Horowitz, people like in this recent round, Tiger Global, Hashed, which I think are the smartest investors in the world, FTX Ventures, Republic Capital, and if you look at their cap table, it looks pretty good. From a technological point of view, I mean, Near is effectively what ETH Layer 2 is. It's a proof of stake, although it is a delegated proof of stake. It's a sharding protocol, which makes it extremely, extremely fast. Now, on top of the main investors, you can see, I don't know if you remember, but Barry Silbert tweeted the other day, said, what is the third largest crypto holding? That's Near Protocol. So Near Protocol does seem like it's worth looking at. And if you look at DeFi Llama and you look at the TVL, the total TVL, and you look at who's growing in TVL and who's not growing in TVL. So let's take the 1 month change. And if you take the 1 month change in total value locked, you've got Ethereum at 1.8% up, Luna at 10% up, Phantom down 16%. And you can see like there's small numbers here. But then you scroll down and you realize that Near Protocol is 174% up in its TVL in the last 30 days. So there's no doubt that the bees are starting to move to Near Protocol. But I didn't buy Near Protocol. I'll show you what I did buy. So I've been looking at this market for a long time, researching Near Protocol, researching all the protocols on Near Protocol. And on every metric, what we're seeing is that Near Protocol is performing quite a bit. And we're seeing that the bees are moving to Near Protocol. And so then what I did was I went to Near Protocol and I said, okay, what does the infrastructure look like on Near Protocol? What does this infrastructure look like? And if you look at the infrastructure on Near Protocol, you've got ref.finance. Ref.finance is the prominent DEX on Near Protocol. Then you got Burrow, which is the lending borrowing protocol. I mean, just look at the 1 month change in TVL. It means that a lot of money is flowed into this in the last month. But what you can see is that the TVL is starting to grow, and that the biggest DEX here was ref.finance. And so then I jumped into looking for threads and for research on ref.finance, and I found a very cool thread which is by this guy called Harry is Near, and he's not really well followed, but the thread was very, very good. And he talked about a whole lot of protocols in the Near ecosystem which are worth looking at. And I looked at ref.finance, which was the AMM DEX. I looked at Paras, which is the NFT marketplace, and I looked at a whole lot of the others. And what I realized about Ref is that if you look at ref.finance and let's look at the total market cap, fully diluted market cap, $207 million. Okay, that is the fully diluted market cap of the predominant DEX on a chain that is growing and growing pretty fast. I said, am I willing to pay a valuation of $200 million for this DEX? Well, what I need to look at is what other DEXs are looking at. So let's look at Astroport, which is, again, you can't compare this on the like for like, but you can see that Astroport is now trading at a $3.7 billion valuation. And if you look at Trader Joe, which is the biggest DEX on Avalanche, you say, okay, fully diluted valuation, $618 million. So 3 times that. And you look at, you can look at Uniswap. Uniswap's the biggest DEX on Ethereum. I'm not saying that Near is going to be anywhere near Ethereum, but that's got a $10 billion total value locked. And then I said to myself, hold on a second. At $200 million total value locked, am I willing to bet on the DeFi infrastructure of Near Protocol? Am I looking to bet on Ref? And I think for me, the answer was yes. And so even though there was a bit of a pump, we spoke about the pump, but let's quickly go back just so that you guys can see what the pump was. I think it's about 40% today. I still bought some today. Just because I think at $200 million, you're getting into the DEX pretty cheap. It's also not that simple because when I looked at the funding rounds, I realized that the last round, which is the private round, was like raised at $1.50 or something. Now, if they were paying between $1 and $1.50, those guys only have a 4x return on their investment. Now, for a DEX, that's not a big investment. And they got big investors like Jump Capital and a whole lot of other big investors also invested in here. So for me, I don't know, I took a bit of a punt on this one. I think generally I don't like to buy green, but in this case, I bought it just because I'm going to hold it for a long period of time. I'm not looking to hold this for a month or 2 months. This is like a 1 or 2 or 3 year hold for me. So I can withstand the market going up or down. I also looked at this. They used the Rainbow Bridge to connect them to a whole lot of other EVM chains. And what I realized here is that you can, the DEX has got 44,000 unique users. It's fast. The fees are pretty low. They use the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah, so I looked at that and I looked at the tokenomics or what people paid for them. And I think this is where it got pretty interesting. Okay, I don't have that information, but it looked like the guys paid between $1 and $1.50. And between $1 and $1.50, I think that's, for me, paying 2.5x what the early investors paid in a project, I think worth it.
Tentacles.
Tentacles. Banter call it is, yeah. Put it into the banter call. Let's make it a banter call because we have called it. I bought it, so I mean I can't call something and not buy it. All right. What else? I promise you I'm going to do those giveaways. I also said to you today that I'm going to show you guys how you can get tokens in an A grade. Get this, A grade project on Luna free. Okay, A grade project on Luna free. You want to know how to get tokens in an A grade project on Luna free? Okay, listen up. This is what you have to do. There is a new wallet that is launching. It's called Leap. It's leapwallet.io. Now, this wallet is a wallet for Luna. So right now you've got the Terra station, which is the predominant wallet on the Luna ecosystem, which allows people to stake, to convert, etc., etc. And there is a new wallet, and the wallet is called loopwallet.io. And what is it? It's a wallet with an NFT wallet with a portfolio tracking function, which is super, super simple, and you can do swaps on the wallet. So how do you guys make money out of this? It's very, very, very simple. You download the Leap wallet. Let me quickly just open this. And once you've got the wallet, just use the wallet. All you need to do is you just do a couple of swaps, stake some Luna, etc. Now remember, this wallet I think is in beta, so just be careful. Make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. But ultimately, just by using this wallet, just by doing some swaps in this wallet, just by putting tokens in the wallet, just by staking from this wallet, you earn tokens at early prices or pre-IDO. So the IDO hasn't happened yet. There's no token for this product yet. There will be a token for this product. And just by using the wallet, just by downloading the wallet and using the extension, you will receive airdrop tokens in this thing. Now, this is a serious, I spoke to the team yesterday. This is how I knew about it. This is a serious protocol. They just got funding. They got their funding from big investors. So Pantera Capital was one of them. Coin Fund was another one of them. Arrington's also behind this. So a lot of big investors are behind this. And for you guys, it's so simple. If you want to do it, you just go to leapwallet.io. You just click here, bang, and you surf. You do a couple of swaps. You can display your NFTs here. You can do a whole lot of things here, and you earn rewards. So you see, you get your rewards. Your rewards will be displayed over there. It really is as simple as that. So if you want free money, free airdrops, just go download this and mess around with the wallet. So simple. Leapwallet.io. Just go try that out. All right. A couple more things. We should talk about quickly before you go watch BitBoy show. Andre Cronje, back from the dead. Is he back from the dead? He wrote this article on Medium. I don't know. I think it's called The Rise and Fall of Crypto Culture. To me, that would mean that he's still watching. He's still around and he's still watching. I don't know if he's coming back anytime soon, but he's certainly still watching. And then I think we need to spend 2 minutes talking about this. MoonBirds. So what is MoonBirds? It is, I think it's what you call an NFT phenomena. This thing is like an NFT phenomena because what it is, it's 10,000 of these pixelated, what do you call these things? Pixelated birds. Owls. Yeah, I think they're not very nice art. And you can see that the floor price on these was 20 ETH. It's now 18.75 ETH. That's the floor price. That's the minimum price if you want to be buying these. Now, this thing has generated huge interest. In its first day, it generated more volume than the Bored Ape Yacht Club, than Mutant Ape Yacht Club, than any other NFT collection. And it looks like the FOMO around this thing is real. So I didn't get it. So I dug deeper to try and find out what is all this hype about. Why is everybody going for these MoonBirds? And I think there's a lot going on here. The first part is if you buy them, you get promised opportunities, being part of the Discord groups. They're also talking about their next project, which is called Project High Rise, which is a metaverse, and you'll be able to get metaverse. They've also got like genius tokenomics. So that you put your birds in a nest, the longer you keep your birds in a nest, the longer you earn. So they've really mastered this whole game theory around economics and stuff like that. So here you can see the founder He says, we see a future where utility and benefits unlocked with diamond hands with wings. For example, if you held your bored ape since day one, you should have been rewarded with more ape. So what they've taken is they've taken the tokenomics from Bored Ape Yacht Club and from all the other ones, and they've got these tokenomics. And then I carried on digging, and I carried on digging, and I carried on digging. And I think I found why people are so impressed here. And I think it's two things. First thing is I think people love this team. So guy's name is Kevin Rose, Ryan Carson. These guys are very prominent business people, social media people, NFT people. Kevin Rose was a founder at Dig, which was a very popular social media platform. But they also launched another collection. So I'll show you. I think I've got it for you. Yeah, it's called the Proof Collection. And if you look at this collection, they sold 1,000. So I think they sold 1,000 proofs. I think the floor price is about 80 ETH. So let's just see. I'm sure it'll load in a second. 85.5 ETH. So it's this. You're buying into all of this. You're buying into all the hype around this. And access to Discords. Yeah, listen to this.
Now, MoonBird Benefits for that total 10,000 supply. You'll have Proof Discord access, not Proof Collective access. Everything that you see today as a Proof Collective member, all those channels, all that content, all of the additional things that we talked about today in terms of the benefits, that's just for the collective.
So you see, you'll get all of this. But I think what's going on here is something way bigger, and something which we're going to speak about probably later in the week. And that is the idea of using NFTs to fund venture capital. So initially, when you funded venture capital, what you did was you invested in a company or in a bunch of founders, and you bought equity. Problem is, equity was illiquid, and equity is controlled by the SEC, and equity is not international, and no one has access to it. Then you went to tokens, but now we know that tokens are frowned upon by the SEC. It's a problem. Now I think what's happening is we're entering into a new age of venture capital. And this is super, super, super interesting, because what projects and companies can do is they can issue NFTs, and these NFTs could be used as a mechanism, not only for raising capital, because one part of it is raising capital, and keeping the company afloat, because every time that these NFTs change hands, remember the company gets a royalty, a percentage of the trade that's happening in the NFTs. So not only is it a good mechanism for raising initial capital and ongoing capital, because as you get more traction and more traction and more traction, so the company gets more and more funded by the trading revenue that the collection is making. But the most interesting part for me, and this is I think the part which blew my mind, is that just like regular humans could invest, or regular investors could invest in equity and in venture capital, what this is allowing us to do is buy an NFT, use that NFT to invest in a venture or in a bunch of founders and all their roadmap plans, but also be the investor as the NFT. So you've got this like virtual VC profile. So each one of these is actually a virtual venture capital, a virtual investor who is now in the project. And so I think that what we're creating here is we're creating a new model for funding any kind of venture capital investment in the metaverse. So imagine like you don't incorporate a company in the US, you just incorporate it in the metaverse, and any kind of company can just raise as much money as they need and ongoing, because every time that these trade hands afterwards, and do this through virtual shareholders. So these are all virtual investors. So we become virtual investors in a project, and we become players in the ecosystem. And now you can use an NFT as a new way to raise capital that is not a token and not a share. And so I think this opens up a whole new can of worms for poor Gary Gensler, because he's not going to have to look at this and try and regulate this. Wouldn't want to be Gary Gensler. Alrighty, do we have the likes? Do we have enough likes? Should we do Cricket Star Manager giveaways? We've got $1,000 to give away. While you guys are doing that, let's select our winners in the 1.8. Come on, guys, 2,000 more likes. Let's select some winners from Bybit. Let's select, okay, today's rows are 8161. Remember, here we double your portfolio. So if you've, what you need to do, you need to go below, there's a referral link. Click on the referral link, open a Bybit account using that referral link, deposit money into the account, and we will double your portfolio. And one person, we will 10x their portfolio. Now remember, we only 10x up to 10 grand. So 1 grand is the maximum to 10x up to 10 grand. And the rest get 2x on their portfolio, 2x in their portfolio. Okay, remember it's 8161 today. How much money will they have? I wonder if these guys will actually have serious money in here. I wonder if these, oh, what do I do? Okay, 8161, let's just see. Okay, 8161. Let's see if these guys will have serious money in their portfolios. I hate Google Sheets. I don't know how to use Google Sheets. Okay, let's go to 8161. Let's see how much money they're going to have. Remember, the red one gets 10x if he's $1,000 or less, or he wins 10 grand automatically if he's more. And the rest get doubled. Okay, let's see what the numbers are today. Let's see what the numbers are today. 8161. Let's see what the numbers are today. How do you do that? So the first guy gets $1. He gets it doubled. The second guy gets $68. Okay, doubled. Second guy gets $22. Doubled. The third guy gets 10x, but only on $9. $90. And the last guy gets... Ooh, imagine we would have been caught on that one.
Wow. Wow.
Imagine we would have been caught on that one.
That must be Fred.
That's Fred. I bet you 22226 is Fred. I've got no doubt that it's Fred. All right, should we do some Cricket Star giveaways? Because we were late today. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're giving away increments of $200. Increments of $200, pre-IDO tokens. All right, let's go. Put up some comments.
Okay, yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do 2 here and we'll do 3. So Alejandro Socorro, he gets $200 and the rest we'll do in the YouTube comments after the show because not everyone can watch the show live. A lot of them had to go watch BitBoy show because we were late. Okay, next one. One more. Wow, the chat's moving fast. What is that? What does it say?
It's just cricket or cricket. The button.
Okay, $9 gets it as well. $200. All right, the rest we'll do in the YouTube comments. For those of you who couldn't make it live because you had to go watch BitBoy show. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Sorry again for the delay. Promise you it won't happen again unless we have technological issues again. See you guys again tomorrow. Until then, trade well, my friends. All knew it was going to happen. You all knew it was going to happen. That's why you said you started laughing.
As long as it's not this week, then it's okay.
Crazy.